Hey, you want to see something really scary?
What's your favorite scary movie?
I'm gonna scare the hell out of you.
What was living behind that boy's eyes was purely and simply evil.
They're coming to get you, Barbara.
When there's no more room in hell, the dead will walk here.
What's blood for, if not for shedding?
Welcome to Fright Night.
Welcome back to Jump Scare. I'm Betty.
And that would make me Chad.
This week we're covering 1971's Let's Scare Jessica to Death.
I'm calling on all the spirits of everyone who's ever died in this house. Jessica. I'm calling on all the spirits of everyone who's ever died in this house. Jessica.
Paramount Pictures presents Let's Scare Jessica to Death.
Jessica, you're home now. Who are you? Why have you been following me?
What's the matter with her?
She knows who killed that man.
What man? I don't know.
He was lying right here. But I swear it's true. No! I think that the same creature or whatever it is that killed the antique dealer killed them all.
I think you should go back to New York for a while. You could see your doctor.
I'm alive. I'm still alive. I was just, looking at the picture. Looks so much like you. My eyes. Look in my eyes. Come with me. Come with me. Follow me, Jessica. Follow me. I won't go away. I'll go away. It's not real, Jessica. It's not real. Jessica, I'm here. I'm here, Jessica. No! Stay. Stay, Jessica. Stay. I'm still here. I'm in your blood. No! You want to die. Go on. You want to die. Leave me! Leave me! Will you be quiet? I'll hear you! Dreams or nightmares? Madness or sanity? I don't know which is which.
Let's Scare Jessica to Death.
Now, I was supposed to choose a haunted house film because we had done
825 Forest Road, and we're like, well, we should do another haunted house movie, to round the month out. But despite what it says, that they moved to a supposedly haunted farmhouse, and the woman fears she may be losing her mind, it was not quite what we thought it was going to be.
No, I thought this whole film was a film about gaslighting. It's two guys and a woman, and they're moving into some house and on some island where they need to take a little ferry to get to.
Oh, and let me just mention they drove a hearse there.
Oh, yes. Which, okay.
Why did you need to drive a hearse there? They're like, it was cheaper than a station wagon. I'm like, but is it as practical?
No one got a job.
Yeah.
Nor did they have jobs before, I guess.
Well, they sold everything, and they went out and bought this apple orchard on this island somewhere, I'm going to guess in New England, Maine, or wherever. That's why they always have the little islands. And they were going to live out there in the country away from everyone because the wife, Jessica, had been just recently released from the mental hospital after 6 months for some sort of unspecified incident that happened. So they thought it would be a good idea to move to a very remote place. Her husband, and her husband's friend, like you do, you just bring your friend along to live with you out in your remote apple orchard. And what I love is they drive out there, they stop in the town, and they're like, ask a couple of questions, and the people in the town are like, well, hi there, stranger, why don't you go fuck yourself? They're like, oh, okay. And they're like, they're just mad because we're in a hearse. And they leave. They go to the house, and the first thing when Jessica walks in the house, she looks upstairs and sees someone run away. And you're like, oh, this is going to be one of those ones where she's always seeing stuff. But the husband's like, oh no, I saw that shit too.
No, wait a second. Before that happens, she saw a woman in a rocking chair on the porch. And before she saw the woman on the rocking chair on the porch, she saw another woman at the cemetery that was looking down at her.
Oh, I forgot. Yeah, they stopped to do like some grave rubbings like you do in all the horror movies. They stopped to do grave rubbings.
She's really into grave rubbings. So yes, so she has already seen multiple, either the same woman or multiple women.
And except when the husband sees, like, oh yeah, I saw that shit too. He runs upstairs and, the friend comes up there with him and they eventually catch up to her. And she's like, hey man, is this your house? Because I moved in here a few months ago. I've just been living in it because I thought it was abandoned. And they're like, no, we actually own it and bought it. She's like, well, I guess I should go. And then Jessica's like, no, you should stay. Stay for dinner. Hang out with us. And immediately, as soon as they sit down for dinner and are talking, she's looking at the husband and looking at her and goes, oh, he wants her. And she wants him. You're hearing this, you're hearing her narrate this, and you're like, oh, okay.
I think you're jumping the gun. I don't think that happened until a little later on. But nevertheless, things do move really fast. My issue with the film, well, one of several, is they sold everything to move. They bought this house, okay, with the apple orchard. Mm-hmm. It's 1971, so the house probably cost like $40,000. But yet they only had enough money to have them eat one meal, because they only eat one meal a day, because that's all they ever show on film. So if it's not on film, it didn't happen. And they're eating this one meal a day, and
so
they only
consists of raw meat and some lettuce.
Yeah, and they only have enough food for like 3 days. Enough money to pay for 3 days worth of food. First of all,
for the three of them, and then they immediately invite the fourth one, the random girl that they meet at the house. After she stays there the night, they're like, well, just move in.
They can do, I'm sure, a fucking like week's worth of groceries for like $10. Like, I'm sure it's something ridiculous like that. Or maybe that's a little under. Maybe like $20 a week's worth of groceries for like 3 people. And like you pointed out, like, well, actually, like I pointed out, because I was like, what is going on? Why are they eating? Is that meat even cooked? Because it looked raw AF.
It looked like someone put hamburger in a blender. It looked like a hamburger paste on their plate. It was really weird.
And you have like the strangest interactions with this woman and the they're kind of singled out because it's like husband and wife. You got Jessica and her husband. Then
Duncan.
You got random friend.
Woody.
Right, Woody.
First of all, never hang out with a dude named Woody. There's just bad things are going to happen to you, and he's going to leave you in a fucking field for dead someday.
And I feel maybe Jessica was like, oh, it'd be good to have another woman on board. It would be good. Maybe Woody wants to use his Woody, that kind of thing.
But I love how the girl there, I forgot what her name was now. They're just immediately, she's like, tells him like, we should go for a walk or something. He's like, yeah, we should go for a walk. And she's like, oh yeah, hold your horses, chief. We're not doing that. It's like, oh well. He immediately was kind of less interested then. He's like, oh well, we're not going to go out and walk out in the woods and have sex? Oh, this is boring.
This movie has a lot of internal dialogue. Jessica is thinking a lot of things. And so are other voices that are talking back at her and or telling her things throughout the whole film, which we never get
an answer as to why that is.
An answer to, was that shit all in her head, meaning the voices, or was whatever was going on with this individual, that the woman. Is she the one really talking to her in her head? No, you don't get any resolution there.
Okay, let's mention the fact now that in the back of this hearse they put the husband's cello case. Now I know the cello is a big instrument and it would require a big case. But this case was the size of an Iron Maiden. It was fucking huge. How big is it? Well, later on they were able to hide an entire human being inside the case. Which I feel like is excessive for a cello case. Okay, that's like saying, that'd be like if I had a case for a violin and it was the size of a couch. You know, you'd be like, what the fuck? You don't need something that big. Just something to secure it. It doesn't need to be the size of a small car. I think it was like the size of a freaking Mazda Miata. I'm like, why do you need that? That makes no sense. It took up most of their living room.
Yeah, that thing was huge. I was just like, okay, we obviously, they must have found it or picked it up somewhere and was like, this is going to be cool for a movie. Let's just say that it's a cello holder, but actually it's an Iron Maiden.
But it did look like that. This is also, I love I was reading some behind the scenes stuff on this, and apparently the first night that they drove in to like film at the farmhouse where they're at, it was covered in fog and looked very creepy. So they just got out and shot the house from every angle and the fields from every angle, so they could just reuse this multiple times during the movie as like transition scenes. Like when between scenes, you're seeing like, oh, here's the fog creeping around the house, but this time we're seeing it from the front. Whoa, now it's from the side. Now it's from the back. We just got multiple angles of it. This is also one of those movies where they just don't give a shit about continuity either, because I love where she's running through the woods in one outfit, and then when she comes out
in a white shirt, and then they show her again, she's in a blue shirt, and she comes out, she's in a white shirt again.
Yeah, like they just don't give a shit. They're like, we had footage of her running from earlier on that we're going to use. Who cares if it matches up? Or is anybody really paying attention at this point? So yeah, I love that kind of shit in it. That cracked me up, where they're just like, we just don't care, guys.
Now, I don't know if it's because of the 70s, but let me tell you, the Emily is the woman that stays with them.
That's right.
And Emily
is the whitest girl you will ever see.
No, she's very, very white.
Like, she is pale, like, hold a can of white paint up next to her and you can't find the paint.
She also she has a lot of tells. And she just gives it away, like, to the audience. She might as well have just looked at the camera and broke the fucking wall and just winked. Okay? Because there's so many shots of either conversation being had or something happening, and they pan over to Emily, and she just has like a I know what's happening, idiots kind of look on her face, and you're like, okay, she's obviously involved in this.
You know what it reminded me of is that meme that went around for years, where it was Kevin Spacey, where he was just turning and slowly looking at the camera very evilly from that show where he played like the senator or whatever on.
Uh-huh.
It was just him kind of slowly turning and looking evilly at the camera. I'm like, yeah, that's this. She's turning, looking at the camera like, yeah, I'm doing some evil shit. Wink.
This movie reminded me of Carnival of Souls. You have a woman, she's kind of losing her mind. She had something happen to her that was traumatic beforehand. She ends up in some island. There's a random men and people walking around and being weird. It was very reminiscent of Carnival of Souls, which I know there's a lot of people out there that think that movie's just the best movie and it's just fantastic. I fucking despise that movie. I think it's very boring. I don't care for the film at all. And that's saying a lot, because I am comparing that film to this film, and I also did not care for this film. I wish there was more. I wish we'd have gotten, it's like they told you something, but they didn't tell you anything at all. You have them go into town to go get, some supervisions. Some provisions. I'm so sorry. Some provisions. She was under supervision of her husband, because
I was like, they don't need any more supervisors out there because they got plenty of people.
The husband is like, my wife is losing her marbles, so I got a supervisor. They go into a town, which also reminded me of Beetlejuice, when they go into the town to go get their You know, the things that he needs, the supplies.
The town reminded me of the town in the Hearst, where it should have been like Sexismville and Racismville.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Because it was me, like everybody's there. Is like the husband gets out of the car, and one of the old men just walks up and slaps him in the back of the head, and like they're just trying to pick a fight with him and all this. It was crazy.
It was like if the Little Rascals grew up to be old men, but they still were little rascals. It was like that because the whole town consisted of 6 old ass white men. That's it. There was no one else in the town. And then you had the one guy that was the normal guy, right? And you could actually have a conversation with. He was the owner of the antique shop.
Which I got the feeling he was a little further out of town.
Yeah, he must have been a little further out of town.
He was a little further down the road.
And he was from New York, so right then and there he was already normal because these other people were not normal.
They were born and bred in Crackertown, and they had never left.
And all the 6 townsmen that lived there, they all had like weird like scars on their bodies.
Somewhere in just random places. On their face, on their arms, the back of their neck. It was all just somewhere they had a scar.
And Jessica notices that big time. And she, you know, addresses that to the husband. And there's a lot of times in the film where she'll see something and other people, the other, you know, her husband or Woody will see it too. So she's not alone. But then there were things that she saw that no one else saw. So it was like, you believe her, but you don't believe her. But she has history of seeing shit, and they did go over. Her dad came to her and we started talking to her. And I think that's why she ended up in the hospital. And, you know, they're going back and forth with that whole thing, and you just never know, is Jessica just going back to her old ways and she's crazy or whatever. While all that's happening, stupid ass Emily has no interest in Woody, and and like you said, Chad, she probably just was into married men. She has all her interest is in Duncan, and they're very touchy, and they're very, you know, jokey.
Oh, the water's not on the house, so let's just my wife and my
Woody and
my
Emily.
friend Emily, let's just all go down to the lake and take a bath together.
Yeah, with the soap, that was weird. I was just like,
Oh, and the husband's soaping up Emily, and she's like, yeah.
Mind you, Woody was soaping her up literally like 20 seconds ago,
and then they just swap, and then Woody's soaping up Jessica, which is kind of weird.
Yeah,
too.
but when Woody was soaping up Emily, she was not moaning like a psychopath.
Yeah. As soon as Duncan laid hands on her, she was like, oh, yeah, you know how to touch me.
Now, Duncan's forehead started probably from behind his ears all the way up to, like, his face. Like, it was all the way back there.
Yeah, you could show a movie on his forehead.
It was massive. He was not attractive in any shape or form. Woody, who also, I mean, when I see these men, I instantaneously think of Ron Jeremy and like those pornos from those days where like everyone just looked like normal people, like just like if it's just like normal ass people. That's what the guys look like. They just look like just your typical 70s, you know, like old man-esque looking dudes. And they weren't good. He had the glasses. He had the coiffed like hair, like.
Now, the other thing we haven't mentioned is that hanging up in the attic is a portrait from the 1800s that is clearly Emily and 2 other people.
Clearly Emily. When they first take the photo down and they bring the freaking, because they're trying to sell it to antique dealer, I'm like, and there's a whole thing with it. She takes it down, they take it to the car. They're trying to decide whether or not they're going to sell this. They're going back and forth about this selling the frame and how they probably shouldn't sell it because that was a family one and it belongs in the house, and there's this whole thing. And I'm like, is no one going to address that looks like 100% like Emily? Like, we're just not going to even address that now?
Not till way later in the movie.
Literally, maybe like there's 20 minutes left of the movie, and that's when we're gonna fucking talk about it.
Now, let me just go ahead and say this now. This movie is 54 years old. So if you haven't seen it by now, I don't feel bad for you if I'm about to spoil this for you. But
hot damn, 54 years old. I mean, I know obviously I said the year of the movie when we started, but
Yeah.
that's crazy.
So, yeah, the whole time you're waiting to go. As soon as someone said in there, like, "Hey, I noticed everyone in the town's got some kind of scar around them, or they've got some kind of wrap around their neck," I was like, "Oh, it's vampires."
And I'm like, how is it vampires? Like, literally, I researched this shit. This shit came up as a freaking haunted house movie. How the hell is it vampires? And then if it's vampires, how are they out here in the damn sunlight? I don't see no damn vampire rings. They're not wearing vampire rings. Now, you have to understand. I'm coming from, like, Vampire Diary lore, from, David Boreanaz's fucking daylight ring from fucking Buffy. Like, there's always a ring that protects the vampire from blowing up just smithereens when it's daylight.
Well, apparently these were the kind of vampires that did not have fangs, lived forever, but could be out in the sunlight.
Yeah, live forever, like True Blood style, like, you 84 years old, you got turned into a vampire, your ass is staying 84 years old. You're not going to get younger. You're not going to get stronger and faster. I mean, well, you're not going to get younger. Maybe you'll get a little stronger and a little faster.
I don't know. I didn't really see that they were that strong, to be honest.
No, I mean, no. The men at the island, no, they were not strong at all. They were very weak.
Because they all got turned into vampires when they were 84, so they had the strength of, like, a half vampire.
You never... Well... Let's just say that Emily was from the 1800s. She drowned. Don't know why. She drowned. And we don't know why she's mad. Oh, and supposedly she drowned in her wedding dress. And she drowned. She never got to wear her wedding dress, even though she's wearing it in the photo. And also in every scene of the water, she's wearing a white dress, but fine. And you never get to, like, there's never any discussion, no reveal of how she became a vampire. Is she really dead? Is she just a ghost? Why there's only like 6 men in this town? Where'd everybody else go? How is she, or how are they able to be in the daylight? They don't have any fangs. Are they vampires? What the fuck is going on here? Like, why? What was she trying to do to Jessica? Because there was a point where she had a big old knife in her damn hand and she could have just slit Jessica's fucking throat, but she didn't. She punctured it so she could fucking drink blood from it. Yeah. Which I'm like, okay. Which reminds me of The Hunger. In The Hunger, remember they had those rings?
Oh yeah.
Right? They weren't your typical fangy vampires. Which I'm okay if you explain something. But there was never any explanation what was going on with Emily. Why they wanted Jessica, or they were just out to just siphon her blood or whatever. But now you have they decided to kill Woody. They didn't even make him into a vampire, but they made Duncan into a vampire.
She was all about him. So maybe he reminded her of an 1880s man.
Maybe he was boring like one. Oh yeah, he cheats on his wife, so I was like, yeah, he needs to die. Like, take him out. He cheated on his wife. Like, okay, I get your wife like has an ailment, but like the second another vagina steps in, you're like, I'm gonna tap that, and I'm just gonna send my wife back to New York to have someone else deal with her mental issues while I'm out here fucking mysterious redheaded lady. Like, are you fucking kidding me right now? I can't.
And then near the end, when Jessica goes to flee the island, I love she goes to the ferry, and the guy, she gets on, and he goes, the ferry doesn't run for you. So he's on it, and then he turns, and you see he's got a big scar on his neck. So it's like, oh, he's one of them too. But then she just runs down, grabs a rowboat, tosses it in the water, and hops in and starts rowing. She's rowing like fucking Gendry in Game of Thrones. She's rowing that fucking boat across the river. And she gets halfway across the river. The husband tries to come and get her. She hits him with the fucking, pole. I don't know what to call they use them for fishing. It has the wooden pole with the metal hook on the end of it.
Yeah.
She kills him with that. So apparently they don't have to have silver or wood to be the heart to die. He floats off, and then you look up, and there's Emily and all the old men vampires standing there on the edge of the town. And you hear the narration of Jessica going, we never did find out what happened with those vampires. Or even if I made it to the other side of the lake.
Wait, did she say vampires?
Well, you know what I mean.
Yeah, no, I'm saying, like, Yeah, she's like, I don't know to this day if it's real or not real. And it's just like, what? What are you talking about right now, Jessica? Also, I thought you were going to get scared to death. You're still alive. I'm disappointed. The title of this film did not match what was actually happening in the film.
I feel like this is another one of those ones that needs to be remade. And remade where they're actually in a haunted house that's trying to scare the woman to death.
See, yes, I agree with you, because it is one of those movies that it's like, okay, you can remake, and you're not going to fuck it up more than it already was fucked up.
Yeah.
You can only make an improvement from there, I feel.
Yeah, remaking a bad movie, you're only going to go up.
Well, I give this non-haunted house movie, I give it, it is 54. 1971. Oh, that just dawned on me right now. I give it 2 knives. I was going to say 1.5 knife. But, yeah. Okay, fine. 1.5 knife.
Yeah, that's what I was going to do too. 1.5. There's a couple of interesting parts to it, and the whole, like, we moved into our apple orchard with no phone, no TV, and apparently no running water. We didn't get any of that stuff put in before we got there, and then no wonder they're all going crazy, because anybody would live in that.
I would get crazy too if all I had was raw meat and some fucking lettuce. Like,
and like I said, no TV, no radio, no bath.
Oh, also there's animal harm. We all know it's 1971, so at one point they find a mole, aka a freaking mouse.
Yeah, I love when the husband goes, "Oh, it's a mole." No, it's not. It's a mouse.
And then the mouse gets its head cut off.
Yeah.
So you know they killed that mouse for real.
There's no 1971, they were just like, they're a dime a dozen at the pet store. Just go get me another one.
Ben got murdered, okay?
Willard's going to be real mad.
And it was messed up, and I did not like that. So we should have probably prefaced with that there is animal murder in this film.
Yeah, although you don't really see it, so it's not as bad as some of them.
No, I mean, yeah, you don't see it. But you do see the corpse, and it's shoved in the TV, like, in the frame, like, in your face! You know? Yeah, wow, how disappointing. I was disappointed by this. Not that I thought this was going to be the best movie I ever saw, but how darn, like, give me something.
I was expecting a haunted house movie based on the description, not a weird pseudo-vampire flick.
Yeah, very strange. But I want to point out that when we were looking up the director of this film, we found out that he also directed a movie that's dear to my heart named Prancer. You know, it's so funny how many of these films that we've done, that we've covered, and a lot of the directors have either previously done or go off to do a lot of Christmas films.
Yeah.
You know, it's very funny. It's like Bob Clark and... You know.
Yeah. He did 2 Christmas movies.
Yeah, both amazing. Well, one's amazing. The other one I don't care about. But everyone else loves. I'm like literally trying to think of the damn name of them right now, and I'm like, I've erased it from
A Christmas
my head.
Story.
A Christmas Story, yes. Black Christmas is the other film. The superb film of the 2. But thank you so much for joining us on another episode of Jump Scare, the horror podcast. Stay tuned to the horror and scare Jessica if you know one. Scare the shit out of her.
And now, folks, it's time to say goodnight. We sincerely appreciate your patronage and hope we've succeeded in bringing you an enjoyable evening of entertainment. Please drive home carefully and come back again soon. Good night.